Today in art, we're going to be creating our very own worry monsters. So we're going to be reading a read aloud called The Very Hungry Worry Monster. We're going to talk about 5-finger breathing and just, instead of writing out our worries, sometimes we can just draw them or paint them on a piece of paper, and that helps us with whatever worry we're dealing with. So what we're going to need is a piece of paper, watercolors. Typically, I have a straw that we can blow and make these cool designs, as well as if you even have a pipette at home. If you're doing this at home, you can just do a dropper and drop some of it on there and blow it around too. And we'll use crayons to draw our emotions. So let's get started. Here is a finished example and an idea of what we're going to be working on today. So when you take a look at this, I'm going to be giving you a piece of paper here. They have the different emotions on it. And you can see that I created some different worries and some different little emotion faces on my big piece of paper. And then here's another one. So you can do 4 to 5, even more little faces if you would like. But I suggest let's just start off with 4. And we can go there from how we're feeling. So think about one important thing first, and that would be is what worries do you have today? So when we're doing art, we never want to hold our breath. We always want to breathe through it. And I'm sure when you've done the breathing, you've also done 5-finger breathing, where you breathe in and out on your 5 of your fingers. So how about we do that in a moment right now, and I'll pause the video here. Now that we've talked about our 5-finger breathing, let's take out a crayon. I usually like to use the black crayon because it shows up really well on the paper, but you can have whatever color stands out for you. You can always change it. So as you start looking at this scribble sticker emotions here, I want you to start thinking about what faces do you want to put on here? Or just draw different faces, and each time you do, make that one of your worries that you're getting rid of. Are you worried about not being in the green zone and being in the silly zone? Because there's no bad feelings, and all of those things are something that is good as long as you learn how to get yourself back to the green zone, right? So each of these things, are you worried about? Oh, when is lunch and all these other things? So as you're doing this, I just want you to look at these faces, use them as ideas, make your own, copy them if you need to, and just create 4, different faces. It could even be 5 if you really needed. Take your time and come up with your own worry monsters. Now that you have your worry monsters drawn, what I'm going to do is give you some watercolors. A really good thing that you can also do too is use liquid watercolor. You could even use marker and get that really wet by getting it wet on a plastic bag and painting it that way. What I'm going to do to kind of help speed up the process is squirt some water from my spray bottle on your papers. So this way, it just gets it a little extra wet. So when we use the watercolor, it's going to spread really cool, as you can see right here. So liquid watercolor would come out just the same, where it's just already nice and watery for you. And when you're using watercolor, remember we're painting with water. You don't want to be taking a lot of paint. It should just be a tiny little dot of water that you're putting on your paintbrush. Now, a trick that I was trying to do here to show you is you could also blow the water. You could tip your paper and have the going a different direction. You can use your spray bottle and kind of create it that way. But my favorite technique that we can't do today because we're still wearing masks is using a straw. So you can always use a straw and you could blow and get those really cool different designs in your worry monster pieces. But don't worry. We can also at the very end kind of move and tilt our paper to get some of those drips and streams and so forth too. You can even splatter a little bit if that's something you want to try as well. So go through, add in some different colors. You're not mixing in your palette, you're mixing on your paper. So you're just taking tiny little dips and you're just dipping it right back on here. The little paintbrush that I've given you is a water brush. So if you ever feel that the paint is getting a little drier, squeeze some water through or squeeze some drops into your watercolor tray, and that'll help wake up your watercolor, as you can see here. Another thing is as your artwork starts to dry, you can play with the different lines and designs that you see on your piece, and you could add your very own decorative background around your worries. As you're doing this, you could think about any worries that you have and that those worry monsters are taking them away. So imagine that whatever it is, as you're drawing, you're letting them all go. So I want you to take this time using any colors. It could be whatever color you have near you or just one, and just focus on your breathing and draw different lines and designs around your background. You don't have to fill out the whole part. You could just fill out part of it. But I can't wait to see what you create.